So welcome to another conversation in our movement moments. Today, I'm thrilled to have Adam Durso, who's the executive director of LEAD.NYC, join us. Adam, we've been talking to leaders around the world who are facing the situation, and nowhere more than New York City is this just, it's amazing what you guys are going through. So I'd love for maybe just to start. First of all, thank you for being here. And
absolutely, Craig.
Tell us a little bit about LEAD.NYC first. Tell me about the ministry, where you guys function, what you do there in the city.
Yeah, LEAD.NYC has really become a backbone organization that helps to lift and exponentially multiply the impact of other nonprofit leaders, pastors, marketplace leaders, and in relationship with the government. We want to make sure that we can cultivate leadership in community so that there's a transformation of New York City through the gospel of Jesus Christ. And these are unprecedented times, Craig. We're thinking about that through a whole new prism and a whole new light than maybe we were a month ago.
So paint the picture for us. New York's always at the epicenter of these things, going back to 9/11 and so many other world events. What's it really like there right now?
I lived through 9/11. I was here. It was a Tuesday night. The church where I pastored for 20 years in Queens, we had our prayer meeting on Tuesday nights. We would always have 1,000 or so people show up to the prayer meeting on a midweek. And I remember that night seeing people covered in the soot from the ashes of the towers, walking through the tunnels, walking over bridges because all the trains and buses, everything was shut down to come and believe God. But this is different. There's a sense of ambiguity, just an uncertainness about the times we're living in that are even different than 9/11. We knew there was a common enemy after 9/11. They knew that we had been attacked on our soil. But now looking at COVID-19 and the coronavirus, there's really an uncertainty. What is this really going to be like? What's the end? Is there an end in sight? And when you take the city that never sleeps, the city that is known for just the hustle and bustle of New York, and you shut it down, it is just unprecedented. It deals with people's psyche in a way that I haven't seen anything in New York. I saw 2008 and 2009. I saw the financial collapse. I've seen 9/11. I've seen a lot of what's gone on in New York, being a born and raised New Yorker here. And these are unprecedented times.
So in the midst of all that, where are you seeing God show up? Where are you seeing, like, all these years of work that you've done in New York City with so many people, all the way up to the mayor? Where are you seeing where God is using all of you in the ministry in the city?
Craig, one of my favorite quotes has been that all of the kingdom flows through relationship. And it is just clear that the relationships that have been built for many, many years, in times of crisis, that's when they matter most. You're not trying to establish new relationships. You're not trying to figure out who you can trust in this season. In this season, you want to know the people that have kingdom heart, that are going to work on the ground, that are going to meet the needs of the most vulnerable, those who are most at risk. When we think about 1.2 million students that don't have school right now, you're talking about kids who live in single parent homes and homes where the concern right now is whether or not these kids are going to be malnourished without getting school subsidized breakfast and lunch. Kids that are locked up in incarceration facilities in conditions where the virus is just spreading. You want to be able to trust the people that you're going to link arm in arm with. This isn't the time to figure out who your friends are. And so when you've got deep relationship in a city like New York, it's amazing how people are willing to come together. We drop the stuff that we don't agree on and say, hey, this is the stuff we absolutely do agree on. We've got to help the least of these. We've got to help the most vulnerable. And we have seen that over and over again. Churches are reaching out beyond their denominations, beyond the cultural and ethnic barriers. Nonprofit leaders are reaching out beyond the title of their one specific organization. Marketplace leaders are showing up in the midst of their crisis. And then, as you mentioned, having a relationship with the government is huge. This is not the time to try to build a relationship with the mayor or the governor. This is the time where you reap the results of having a relationship in those entities. And so yesterday I was on a call, the gubernatorial appointment deputy director for faith initiatives of the state of New York, working with Governor Cuomo. She was on. Reverend Q English has been a longtime friend of mine. Being personally a member of the Clergy Advisory Council and having the opportunity to text Mayor de Blasio and say, hey, I'm praying for you this morning. And then just simply to get a text back letting me know, Adam, thank you so much. You have no idea what this means, because we're not here to politicize this thing. We're not here to cast blame. What we're here to say is this is the time when we need the hope that is found in Jesus Christ to show up in its most simplistic way.
So what words would you share to encourage your staff, your church, your city, and all the people around the world that are watching Movement and LEAD.NYC? How do you encourage people?
We did a virtual lunch yesterday. So our team got together over Zoom, and I sent gift cards to pay for their lunch. And we had lunch together over a Zoom call because we're obviously all locked down in houses here in New York. And what I found was that the hurt and the pain is deep and very close to home. We have a team member whose dad is quarantined in their basement right now because he's a pastor, but he's also got coronavirus. He's been tested positive. We have two other staff members who both said that they lost somebody within the last 48 hours to COVID-19. And so in those moments, what people need more than a stump speech, what they need more than your best sermon or dissertation, is they need to resonate with your pain, because people resonate with your pain far better than they resonate with your truth. Before they can understand your truth, before they can understand why you have a hope, they need to know that we all have this same pain together. And so I think it's in the vulnerability of just simply sharing with leaders and teams and those that I've been on calls, whether it's been across the city, across the nation, across the globe. Hey, we feel that pain too. We resonate with that pain. And because we resonate with that pain, the comfort that we have received, we now get to share. That same comfort that we sense in God, that same comfort that we have in the Prince of Peace, we can then share that without having to cast any disparaging remarks, without having to point a finger at anybody, but simply say, hey, in this season and in this moment of greatest difficulty, there's still hope.
Adam, thank you. I want to circle back in the days ahead and do another one of these calls with you and get an update from New York and what you're doing and what you're seeing on every side of this. So thank you. Bless you. Keep up the good work, man. You're doing an amazing job.
Craig, man, I'm looking forward to it. We'll keep you posted here from New York City, and I'm just continually reminded that the resurrection happened in a graveyard, buddy. So God can do anything at the most difficult of places.
It's great. Thank you, Adam.
Bless you, brother.